even the water itself looks cold and grey and not very pleasant at all. But I'm just trying to stop and just have a little listen around. Sometimes it's good to do this, when you're having a quiet kind of run of it and you're struggling a little bit with finding animals. It's good just sometimes just to stop and kind of reset. And so just have a little listen. You never know. Maybe an alarm call gives you something, or a squirrel, or a bird that's making some odd noises. It's always good just to do that. So maybe what we should do is, as we gaze upon treehouses, we'll just take a minute or two just to keep nice and quiet. We'll sit here a little longer, see what else we can hear. While we do that, let's send you across to Taylor, who apparently is doing something with the tree stump.
We're not doing anything with the tree stump other than looking at it, Tristan. But here we go. It's a big tree that has fallen over, and I suspect it was initially ring-barked by the elephants and then became old as it lost all its nutrients. And then the termites, they thought, oh, well, this is perfect. We'll just have this, thank you very much. And you can see there, as we look a little bit closer, there's not much going on in terms of termite activity right now. I don't blame them, though. It's quite cold. But you can see how they've hollowed it out. They've been eating away in there. So that tree could quite easily have fallen over just by an elephant using it as a rubbing post. Perhaps it scratched its bottom too hard, and then this is the result. Or maybe it just caved in, really, and snapped at the base and toppled on over. Hopefully there were no casualties here. Maybe the odd grasshopper. But luckily there's lots of them. But that's going to be a nice home for lots of different animals to live around in there, not just the termites, but because it's fallen down to the ground now, the scorpions might inhabit it, definitely get some lizards, and who knows, maybe the odd juvenile worm-slung that we saw the other day, which is a snake, could live on those beautiful sort of broken branches. That would be a hot spot for snakes, in fact. Might get all rodents and things living underneath it, perhaps some scrub hares using it for shelter too, from raptors flying in the sky. So that would be a great spot, in fact, for many snakes. That's actually what I'm trying to look for. Anybody curled up and wrapped around the branches of a tree. But sadly, no luck just yet. And like Tristan said, sometimes when the bush is a little bit quiet, if you just stop and you have a little look around and listen, often you'll get an opportunity. We're still searching for elephants, though. I asked David what he wanted to see, and his answer was elephants. So we're looking for them now. Now, speaking of elephants, and, well, hopefully we're going to find them, something we don't see every day is a collared elephant. And Leopard, you're wondering if we get collared elephants in the Sabi sand. Now, I can't remember them actually collaring elephants in the Sabi sand itself. However, in Kruger, must almost be about 20 years ago now, they did a project where they were following the movements of herds, and they were collaring the matriarch, so the female leader within the herd. And off they went on their studies. And massive, huge collar, in fact. I'm trying to remember, there's one up at Ngama, which is in the Mara, the beautiful 5-star camp up there. They've got one that they've taken off an elephant. And they did put the weight up there. I think they said something silly like it weighed like 15 kilograms. It was a massive thing. I mean, just the leather strap, I think it was also reinforced with a little bit of plastic too around it. It was exceptionally heavy. I think I would struggle to pick it up. Anyways, so they did this project, but now they finished with gaining all the data and research that they needed, and they've started removing elephants with collars. So you don't often see elephants around this area in the greater Kruger with collars. I'm trying to think, the last time I saw one, I don't think I've seen one since I've been here at Wild Earth, have I? Perhaps. Definitely saw one when I was down in the southern Sabi sand, so around about 2015 or so, crossing in from Kruger, in fact, across the Sabi River. So yeah, But they don't do too much of that. Oh, that's good, son. I just saw some fresh elephant dung. Let me keep my eyes open here because they could just be 2 meters off the road and I might drive past them. They're facing the wrong way. Woo! Hello, Hendrik. Welcome. I don't even know if you are Afrikaans or not, but I just thought that I'd say hello. Talk about stereotyping. The Hendrik is a very nice name in South Africa. Lots of handsome young men are named that. You said that your first time viewing and wondering where in Africa are we filming. Well, right now, I'm driving around in the northern Sabi Sand, which is a private wilderness area, actually one of the most sought after safari destinations in South Africa. And basically we're open to the Kruger National Park. Maybe you've heard of the Kruger National Park in South Africa. Essentially, we're up in the northeastern corner of the country. That's quite cool. But we also have a camp in the Mara, which will hopefully start filming in again soon, which is quite cool. So we get to see the migration in Kenya and the Masai Mara and the Mara Triangle, which is really quite a spectacle. So that's where we are, and we're looking for animals, but it's a cold and miserable day. It's not particularly wonderful out here, and the rain is just starting to come down again, so I think everybody's a bit cold, and the animals can't put layer upon layer and scarf and put long socks on and slippers, so I bet they're using the denser vegetation as a bit of shelter. Shall we go and continue our drive from this morning? Michael was asking earlier, and I said the Sunrise Safari, whether we can check the hyena dens, and we started checking the old dens, so we might as well pop into this one, which is just off of Philemon's cut line, seeing as though we are here. Have a little look-see. Who knows, maybe we find a new den. Maybe they're back here, maybe they just moved in today. Let's have a look, we're almost in here now. Oh, you forget how far down this road actually goes. Okay, here we are, I promise this time. Now, first thing I haven't noticed, though, is many hyena tracks coming up and down, and that would typically be a sign. If it was an active hyena den, there'd be lots and lots of hyena tracks. Okay. You know what, let's drive right up, because I don't think this is an active den, and see if there's maybe warthogs or something living in here now. So, Darby, watch your branches. Oh, it's a scrub hare. It was actually just a scrub hare that just ran into that burrow now. So that, we put a little light in there too, so that we can see on inside. So no hyenas living here, but there was a scrub hare in the burrow. It's obviously gone down and to the left where we can't see around the corner. And that's quite nice. It doesn't look like there's any little warthog hooves around here, so perhaps it's just the scrub hare and some of the smaller animals utilizing this. And that'll be nice and warm in there. It'll probably be a couple of degrees warmer, in fact. There we go. So they're all sharing, all taking turns. Right, let's just jump out. Can't believe I'm able to use my spot. I could just about start using it, hey, David? Start looking for things on the leaves now. It's going to get dark early. Right, we're going to keep scratching around to see what else we can find. Brent has arrived at Chitwa Dam, so we know there's going to be lots of birding, lots of hippos, and, well, I don't know what else he may see.
Well, lots of birds and lots of hippos, and we're starting with one of my favorite little aquatic birds, the greenback or striated heron. Oh, there's one closer to us, Craig. Oh, wait, let's stick on him. He looks like he's about to go for a fish. Now, they are incredible little birds, and, well, they've been termed as one of the only birds that's been known to use tools. Now, not tools in the normal sense. What they do in certain areas, I've never seen it in the Sabi Sands, but I have seen it in the Okavango Delta in Botswana, is they will go catch a grasshopper and they will use it as bait. In a little papyrus channel, they will take the grasshopper, pick it and put it down and let it drift past them, waiting for a fish to come up and try grab it. And then if no fish comes up, they pick it up and do it again, pick it up and do it again, until they actually manage to catch a fish. And if there's no fish in that fishing spot, they will actually take the grasshopper with them, keep it alive, and move off to the next fishing spot. Now, all the waterholes here are quite complex ecosystem, and every single one of them has algae in it, to answer Rampaging Elephant's question. So there are different forms of algae, but every single one of our waterholes will have algae. So the striated heron is playing the patience game. We're being given the evil... Sorry, this guinea fowl just started making a noise like there's a predator. Let's go have a look. Now, it could obviously be a fish eagle that set them off. It could be Hosanna. It could be Tingana, who I think is also in this area somewhere. Or they could have just got a fright from a flock of Egyptian geese landing. Get me all excited for nothing, guinea fowls. We've got some more guineas in front of us here. We're just going to go past those ones, because I saw another bird land next to us. Get him there, Craig. There we go. We've just got its head peering out from right on the edge of the water. The aptly named hammerkop, which is an Afrikaans word, so the translation is hammerhead. And he's after frogs and fish as well. Now, of course, most of you will know they build absolutely massive nests. Giant nests, in fact, for a bird of their size. Oh, off he goes. You can hear the hippos start making noise. They might actually come out of the water a little bit early tonight. I just want to check down, have a quick look behind the dam wall here. It's a good spot for leopards. I'm not seeing anything just yet. And you can see down there, often a good spot for leopards. We had an absolutely astounding elephant sighting here yesterday, with Fang and her herd just surrounding us. It was magic, absolute magic, swimming and cavorting and making lots of noise, and they didn't chase any hippos, but they did seem to have a really great time. Now he's going to get opposite slightly bigger group of hippopotamus. The main reason why I made sure I went back and got my torch. Let me go forward a bit more, Craig. Are you good? Good? Oh, there we go. I'm giving a little yawn. Now, Tristan's got the right idea. It's the right time of the day to sit quietly and listen to the bush and see if we get... Oh, what's this flying in, Craig? Oh, it's a vulture. So, First Lady is wondering what is the difference between that striated heron and an egret. There's an egret there, Craig. Oh, there's, okay, let's start on the heron. Yes, you spotted. There's another little green-backed heron. So you see its body posture and everything. It's actually far more closely... Well, it's a type of night heron, the little green-backed heron, although they are quite diurnal. But we've got looked like an egret out in the middle there. See the white? There we go. What does it look like? It is... there's one. It's got dark legs and a yellow bill. Who can tell me which egret that is? But there is an egret, so you can see they are quite different. There's only one species of egret that we get around here that is dark, and that is the black egret, but they're very rare in the Sabi Sands. I think I've only seen them 3 times in all my years in and out of the Sabi Sands. I wonder which room Hasana has got his bushbuck kill at. So there's Chitwa, you'll start seeing the lodge just behind. And somewhere amongst the guest rooms, Hasana has got himself a nice bushbuck. I'm hoping it's the room Craig and I are staying in tonight. Okay, now we're going to go back across to the main lodge there, Craig. So Tristan was talking about how high the water came. And the swimming pool, yep, you're on it. So you can see the swimming pool there, that dark thing to the left of the lights. So that is how high the water came. All the way up to the swimming pool. You can see the swimming pool there. So a lot higher than it is now, that's for sure. Isn't this wonderful? So peaceful here down by the Chitwa Dam. As I say, I'm hoping to hear some alarm calls. I think Tingana still might be in the area. We know Hassan is somewhere in the lodge itself. And as I said, I'm hoping it's in the room that we are going to be staying in. We can maybe even see Hasana through the window. Okay, we're going to keep birding for a little bit. We're going to head on down along the edge of the dam here. Oh, wait, quickly, they might do it again. I got them in the right place. Oh, silly hippos. They were yawning, but they stopped. Okay, well, I'm going to keep bird watching along the edge of the water here. So while I do that, let's go see how Tristan's doing. Apparently, he's already got his lights on.
I do have my lights on. We are driving around and it's starting to get dark very, very quickly now. And so we've got our lights on just to help us and aid us should there be any tracks anywhere here that we can pick up. Sean, no, all animals do not have the same eyesight. Some animals have better eyesight than others. Some are designed obviously to see at night. In the form of the cats, their eyes are a little bit different to a lot of the herbivores. And also if you look at the position of eyes, they'll show you how different they are. And then if you go into the insect world, then their eyes are completely different. You get, as Taylor was talking about during school drive today, you get dragonflies and those kind of things, and flies with compound eyes. So not all animals have the same eyes, and they obviously their eyes will suit the way that they do things. So let's take like a lion, for example, that will have a whole bunch more rods and a higher percentage of rod cells than what we've got in our eyes. In fact, infinitely more. And they'll have very few cones, and we will have far more cones. And that's why we see better in color than what they do. And that will be true of a lot of the animals that rely on eating fruits. So things like baboons and monkeys, they will have a very similar eyesight to us. Whereas lions and them, they don't need to see color because they don't need to see, or rich color, because they don't have to worry about their prey animal being ripe. They can just, as long as they can see the prey animal, and so they've sacrificed color in order to see better during the night. And so each animal has varying degrees of eyesight in terms of how good it is, how much color they get, and whether they can see very well in the darkness or not. So, you know, there's a lot of different eyes out here and a lot of different eye structures, and you look at snakes and frogs and birds and mammals. It just kind of changes throughout all of them. But it has been a tough afternoon. There's very little happening. Well, I mean, we haven't really even seen a single track that would get us excited that maybe there's a semblance of hope somewhere here. I have no doubt that there is a leopard somewhere on Djuma. I am convinced that there is one somewhere. It's just we haven't picked up any signs of it. So wherever it is, it's doing a very good hiding job, and it's got itself into a good place, and maybe it's even got a little meal that it's busy devouring, and that's why we haven't found it. But Shadulu is far west, and Hukamuri south, and Hosana south. Tingana's last tracks went south. Quarantine is on Torchwood, so anybody who was wanting an update on Quarantine, he was seen this morning, moving about and walking around there, apparently looking very, very good, which is good news. And Tandi and Cub, apparently it looks like Quarantine might have stolen a kill from them, because they were saying that there were tracks for her, and then Quarantine's tracks went into the area and there was a drag mark, and signs of a quite a large carcass. I think they said an impala or something like that he had finished. So it was, I think maybe she's on Torchwood as well. That doesn't really leave too many others. Tumba is the only one that we don't really know where he is at the moment, and obviously Shadow and Cub also have no idea where they are currently. So hopefully we'll get some sign of one of the spotted cats tomorrow. I think today we might not get lucky, but you never know. It's always worth just driving. I'm right on the western boundary, just in case maybe one of them decides just to show up. You never know. There can be stranger things have happened. Leopards just pop up somewhere. This is a perfect day for somebody like Mvula, which makes me sad because I'm pretty sure Mvula is no longer with us, and he was the kind of cat that would pop up in these random situations in the random weather right when you needed him the most. And so it would have been so nice to have had him still kind of gracing our presence and kind of gracing us with his presence, should I say, and kind of making an appearance. Like I say, he used to save us a lot in these kind of difficult conditions. So it's sad to think that the old man is not around anymore and is not here with us. He's such a legend of a cat that it would have been good to kind of keep him going. But the thing is you can't have cats living forever, and it's part of being out here. It's the tough part about it. And so hopefully, wherever he ended up being, and hopefully he didn't suffer towards the end. Anyway, we'll carry on. We'll keep marching forward. We'll see what we can find. While we do, let's send you back to Brent Leo Smith with some very playful hippos in the Chitwa Dam.
Well, it seems like it's a little group of sub-adults and youngsters that are cavorting in the shadows, chasing each other about, getting ready and getting excited to head out and start feeding. I'm hoping they start making some noise again shortly. I'm also just keeping a lookout for Hasano, who might come strolling out of anywhere. Oh, look how cute it is! I was hoping to get some hippos out of the water a little bit earlier than normal with this very cool weather. Oh no, too scary! It's too scary! It's too scary! Oh, there's Mom. Look at all the teenagers, the cool kids on the beach. Here comes the little one again. Are you going to be braver this time, or are you going to get a fright and run back to Mom again? You can be a cool kid too, little Hippo. Isn't that wonderful? All the little ones. Even the one in the back there is a sub-adult. It's not an adult. Oh, bite! And you can see the size difference as Craig zooms out. There's an adult female. Absolutely massive in comparison. And if we go a little bit wider, you'll start to see where we're going to be having dinner this evening, and the swimming pool. So there we go. That's the main area of Chitwa, the lodge. Isn't that just the most spectacular sight? One of the wonderful things is you can just sit on the deck, and there's constant movement of hippos and elephants through the day. It is truly in a wonderful spot. Oh, this little one is fun. Oops, daisies. Let's keep close to Mom, just in case one of those teenagers decides to start bullying me. Come on, play with me. These little ones still at it. Oh no, I'm going to sit down. I'm tired. Don't bite my bum. Oh, here comes the little one again. I'm big, I'm scary. Look how scary I am. It's almost reminiscent of little puppies playing, or fat puppies, very fat puppies. Oh, tired. One at the back just flopped down. Okay, those guinea fowls are sounding a little bit more stressed. Or are they? Let's have a quick look up there with my binoculars. I'm trying to see where the guinea fowl are. Because they went quiet like they were going to go to sleep. Oh, there they are. No, I don't think they've spotted anything that's too serious. Otherwise they'd be making a lot more noise than that. I was sort of hoping that Hasana was going to pop out. And I agree 100% with you, Noriko. These hippo are hilarious. Especially that little one. And still charging up and down. Listen to that. The hippos also think everything's hilarious. Well, it seems like Taylor has found something minuscule to show you.
We have in comparison to hippos, it's absolutely tiny. Look at what we've got on the web. I'm pretty sure it's the same kind of spider that we had earlier under the microscope. It's definitely in the orb web family, as you can see. Beautiful orb-like web. And sitting in the middle, which is another feature. Just waiting for some insects, or some unlucky insects. Maybe some midges, perhaps a mosquito. Who knows, maybe even a stink bug. So get caught up in that very sticky web where it will then shoot from the center out towards it, bite it, and then wrap it up in a silk sleeping bag, I suppose. Permanent sleeping bag, though. There's no escaping that. But such a nice little spider. Very pretty. I'm just wondering exactly which type of orb spider it is. Not doing too much. I'm surprised it's actually out and active and built a web, considering it is so cold this evening, but at least we found some form of life. Hey, David. Listen, I hit the brakes so hard when I realized that there was a spider to be seen this afternoon. It's been very quiet. Like Tristan said, there's no tracks, there's no nothing. Might have to put little side lights on here. There we go. Yeah, they're on. Darby did the check. So that's what we're looking for now. So I've got my spotlight out and I'm checking every single shrub to see if there are any little creatures. Ooh. Now, I'm actually not certain about this because Raging Bull Elephant, you're wondering who is the current marshmallow, well, champion, I suppose. Is it me or is it Ralph? I can't remember. David won't know. Tristan doesn't count because he got stuck in his own private car in Botswana, so that doesn't count. It has to be at work, of course. So I'm not sure. It's either myself. Wouldn't surprise me if it is me or it is Ralph, but I feel like Ralph has maybe got stuck a few more times than what I have got stuck. He was the king at doing that. He was actually asked, if you want to hear first-hand encounters, you should ask Craig about his experience getting stuck. He's very funny when he tells the stories, of course. Craig puts his own little spice and spin onto it, as we all do. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. We'll have to actually message Ralph and ask him who holds the marshmallow title. I would like it back, please. I quite enjoyed being the marshmallow queen. That was quite nice, wasn't it? But I don't think we'll be getting stuck up here. It's a little bit more difficult to get stuck unless you wedge yourself over a fallen tree, which we've all done before. No denying that. Chasing after wild dogs or following a lion or a leopard through the thick terrain. That's always quite funny. When you awkwardly have to say to final control, we may have a problem here. We may be a little bit on the stuck side. I cannot move anymore. And then they love to let you linger just to let the punishment set in. Hey, David. And he's just like, this is so nice. This is so much fun. It is quite hilarious. Rebecca's now agreeing with me on the radio. It's the truth. It does happen. Okay. Come on, what is going to be the next little creature? We are looking for all the small critters. Maybe we'll find a frozen butterfly or moth. Anyways, Tristan, however, has got the smallest of small birds out in the road.
I do, well, not small, but it is one of the smaller ones that we see in these areas, and it is sitting on the road and is known as a nightjar. So they're starting to come out and fly around, and they'll be catching all of the insects that are going to be out after the rain, so they'll be thoroughly thrilled with the rain that we've had. Now, which nightjar it is, I'm just trying to check. They are so difficult to identify, these guys. It's not very easy at all. Generally, IDing nightjars, you need to see them actually flying around, otherwise it becomes almost impossible. Now, I reckon it could be a fiery neck nightjar. It's the way that it's got its head at the moment is not easy to actually see too many features of them. But let's have a look. There's a couple that we get here. So we get rufous-cheeked, square-tailed, and all of the others. Now, does it have a white eye stripe over the top of the eye? Doesn't look like it, does it? I wonder if it's not a square-tailed. Looks a bit like a square-tailed. Could be. Difficult to say. We need them to call or to fly. The flying is the best way to be able to kind of pick them up. But the square-tailed normally has a little white sort of stripe that comes down underneath the eye. So there we go. That's a better angle, actually, that we've got there. Could be. They're so tough when they're just like this. I'm just trying to see. It's not fiery-necked. Maybe. Could be fiery-necked. It's either fiery-necked or a square-tailed, one of the two of them. But it's, like I say, unless they fly and you can get them kind of frozen and you can actually get the wings and the tail areas, it becomes really difficult to be able to ID them and make sure that you've got a correct ID on them. Either way, they're really interesting birds. I love nightjars. They've got the most beautiful calls, and they're synonymous with the African bush, particularly the fiery neck nightjar. It's got that call that if you've ever been out into the bush, you'll know it incredibly well. In fact, maybe I should play it for all of you because it is such a pleasant call. The others don't have very pretty calls, but they're very kind of calls that you'll always remember. So I'll play the fiery necked first. So that's the fiery necked, which is, like I say, if you've ever spent any time out in the bush, that's one that you'll know. And the square-tailed I was telling you about, they've got a very different call. So it almost sounds like a generator changing. Seems a lot more interested in that than it was in the fiery necked. Anyway, very cool call to have anyway around. So, Monique, mostly after dark as the sun sets. They might call now because of the weather that we're having. Fiery necks might start a little bit earlier tonight than they normally do, but 99.9% of the time it's only when it gets very, very dark. Even in the grey conditions like this, they're normally quite quiet still, and the reason for that is because otherwise they attract too much attention to themselves too early when there's still some of the other predatory birds out and about, and so I'd rather do it at night when it's dark and they can hide away a little bit better. Okay, sorry, little nightjar. I do apologize. Let's just turn off all of our lights so we don't blind this nightjar and let it fly off and find a place to sit somewhere else. Now, remember that you can help out in the choosing of Tundi's cubs' names. So there are 3 names that were chosen by Taxon, Aubrey, Herbie, Rexon, and those 3 names are on our Facebook page. If you want to go get the video and get the meanings for the names and what they all kind of are, then you just go onto our Facebook page, and the voting for the names closes at 9 o'clock tonight, apparently. So if you want to participate in that, then it's a nice chance to kind of have your say as to whether you want one of the 3 names to be given to the little cub, and hopefully it will survive through all of this, that we can actually make use of it. Good. But like I say, 9 o'clock Central African time is when the voting closes, so make sure that you have a look and you decide which one that you like the most. Would have been nice to have seen Tundi's cub today. Would have tied in quite nicely with all of that, but of course she's still in Torchwood at the moment, and she will be a lot in Torchwood. We're going to see very fleeting glimpses of Tundi because of Hukumuri's presence. She's not going to come and hang around in the central parts of Djuma like she was when she first had that cub. Unfortunately, she just knows that it's just too dangerous for that little one to come this way. So for now, she'll be inside of Torchwood, and why not? There's no pressure from any other female leopards that side from her at the moment, so she can spend a lot of time on that side of the world. Right, now I'm going up vertical access in the hope that maybe the Nkulma Pride makes an appearance. While I do that, apparently Brent Leo Smith has left Chitwa Dam and is now dressed like a ninja.
Well, dressed like a ninja, I should be looking for Okamori, but I'm not. I'm still looking for Tingana. So we've checked all around the dam. We're now going to go below the dam wall, see if there's anything happening down there. It's a very productive area for leopards. Speaking of leopards, don't be a slouch. Get those fingers a typing if you want your favorite name for Tundi's little one. You better vote now, because the voting closes in a few short hours. I feel like I'm on some singing game show telling you to vote for me. How horrible. Or talent show, game show, I don't know what they're called. Craig, I think, is giving me the bah buzzer. Is that right, Craig? Yeah, Craig's giving me the bah. So if you don't vote, bah for you. Come on. We know there are leopards around here. It's just so difficult in this weather because often they'll have kills. They're not walking about, and even if they are, the rain will obliterate those tracks during the day. But of course, we shall not give up. It's one of those awkward times where it's just not dark enough for a spotlight, and your eyes are still the best if you're going to spot anything at the moment. But while I'm looking up into the trees at a distance, I am using my spotlight to see if we can spot a bush baby maybe, or even a genet, or even an owl. Good area for the rose eagle owl as we head down towards the lower sections of the Mulwanini River. Now, it sounds like Tristan's ambushed an unsuspecting bird.
Well, I don't know if I've ambushed it. It's given that I just drove up right alongside of it, but it's a very odd place to see one of our most beautiful birds that we get out here. So it is a saddle-billed stork that is perched high up in a dead tree. I know they do sit in them at night to try and stay out of the way of predators, but it's an odd place to find one, and I'm quite glad that we did. So this is the female of the saddle-billed stork species. The male has got a dark eye and yellow wattles that hang down from his beak, whereas the female's got this beautiful little yellow eye ring that you can see there. And they're not the most magnificent birds, with that massive, massive beak, red with that black saddle over the top of it. Well, black sort of stripe and then the yellow saddle, should I say, on the top of the beak. And they really are exquisite kind of black and white feathers as well. Now, the light that's coming down at the moment is very weird. It's kind of this pinkish colored light, which hopefully means good news. They always say pink, I suppose red sky, isn't it? It's not pink sky. If it was pink sky, it would be a good thing. But there's a very weird light that's around at the moment, and it's actually quite pretty on that saddle-billed stork as it sits up in the tree. And I'm pretty sure it's going to rest here for the night. I don't think it will fly too much. It's going to probably just try and sleep there. And the reason it's here is because it's very close to a whole set of little mud wallows that are just off vertical access, which will be the perfect place in conditions like this to have been hunting for frogs and terrapins and those kind of things during the course of the day. And you'll be surprised how big a terrapin a bird like this can put down. I've seen one where it was so big that its entire neck distended in the shape of the terrapin as it went down into the stomach, and it was quite funny to watch. It actually took the poor bird about 45 minutes to try and swallow it, and it looked as though it was choking the entire time. I still want to know how it ended up in its stomach and what happened when it had to come out the other end, because I feel like a massive terrapin of that size had a shell, and it's got to have not been comfortable to coming out the other side. And Rebecca, I'm sorry I ruined your moment there, because Rebecca was talking about how dreamy it is with the pink sky, and I was talking about defecating a terrapin shell. Doesn't quite go hand in hand, does it? But it is quite dreamy. Well done, Rebecca. I think so. The pink sky is very pretty with that bird up against it. It's a very beautiful situation. Good. Well, we don't want to put lights on it, and it is getting quite dark, and my lights are on, so in that kind of direction, which means I don't really want to shine on it too much. So we're going to leave our little saddleboard stork to itself. It's going to hopefully not fly as I go past. I don't want to make it fly at this late stage of the day. Nope, it's going to stay there. Good. Saddleboard stork, you stay where you are. Enjoy your evening. I hope it's a restful one. Please shout if you see the lions coming past, because maybe the Nkuhuma Pride might head back in this direction. I think that's going to be our last roll of the dice, is to try and get onto the Buffalo's Hook cut line, and maybe, just maybe, the 3 Avoca males, not Birmingham males, Avoca boys might pop out back onto the boundary. That's the idea anyway. So while we head there, let's send you across to Brent Leo Smith, who is going to tell all of you the 3 names that Tundi's cub is potentially going to get, and so that you can all hear how they sound and decide from there.
Okay, I hope you guys are ready for a little bit of a pronunciation, because we're going to have to say this for quite a while. So the first one is Mbulwa, Mbulwa, M-B-U-L-W-A, Mbulwa, Mbulwa, Mbulwa. The second one is actually the trickier of the 3. It is Talalamba, Talalamba, Talalamba. And the third one is Kutulu, no? Kutlula, 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 Kutula, Talalamba, and Mbulwa. Mbulwa, Talalamba, and Kutulwa. My favorite is... Am I allowed to have favorites? Oh, no. Something's going on here again. My favorite is Talalamba. That's my favorite. Talalamba. It just sounds far nicer for a girl. Talalamba. We're going to go look for Talalamba. Yeah, that's my favorite. Talalamba. And then I get to go la 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 la. We can go look for Lala. We can go look for Lala. We can go look for Talalamba. Okay, let's go back across to Taylor, who's switched into infrared.
My goodness. Some of those names seem to be a bit of a there. Right, well, we've just passed Buffalo's Hook Dam. There was nothing happening there at all. So we drive a couple of fire breaks. Djuma, who's a male leopard that sometimes pops his nose on to Buffalo's Hook. I'm going to have a little scratch around here, seeing as though we haven't been having much luck anywhere else. And then also, what about a little bush baby? It might be a little bit cold for a bush baby, but we'll try anyway, because the vegetation is so nice and thick here, and they can bounce from tree to tree fairly easy. This is actually the quarry where Djuma was with Scott. Fairly close by. I'm just having a quick little look here. Checking the grass. No, it doesn't seem like there's anyone here. Not yet. But we're looking. We are searching. And I suppose if you don't look, you're never going to find anything, yeah. Yep. Elephants. Creating all sorts of wonderful roadblocks. Okay, let's check for bush babies. I don't know, it could be too cold actually. I don't know if they would have come out. Woo, that's a big hole in the ground. Let's check up here in this marula tree. These bush willows. No, nothing. just yet, and no fresh tracks, like Tristan said. Still looking for butterflies and any sorts of insects sitting on leaves. Definitely still looking for those. Or scorpions. How cool would it be if we could see a scorpion coming out of its burrow, crossing the road? Solifuges, which are creepy. They are very scary. Becca's now terrified in Final Control. Actually, we could just go to Final Control, hey, David, to look for scorpions. That's where they all seem to live. They love it in Final Control. It's nice and warm.
Oh dear, you are stuck with me. We're the only ones here. I'm just doing a little boundary patrol around the edge of Chitwa, hoping Hosana might pop out for a little visit before the end of the safari. But so far, no such luck. I'm also looking, I heard a little barred owlet calling in this area as well, so that's why I'm having a look, see if the owlet's around. No such luck yet. Now, even though we had a little bit of rain today, it wasn't that much, I'd say. It was a nice soaking rain, and due to the fact that there was no sun, it would have been quite good for the bush, but we could have definitely done with a bit more. Now, one of the cool things that you find often after the rain, although I feel that this rain wasn't really hard enough, is snakes. And that was online's question. Don't you find snakes after the rain? You do. There's a couple of different reasons. Your snakes that tend to live underground, your burrowing snakes and your blind snakes, they get washed out of their holes. But after rain, and your puff adders, and that's because they like eating frogs. So they come out after the rain to munch on froggies. But I haven't heard any frogs even after this rain. As I say, we're quite late in the season. We do have a nightjar, though, landing in the road. Let's have a look. Now, we saw a European nightjar not too long ago, a few nights ago. And probably one of the last European nightjars we're going to see this year. Is there an alate explosion? No, I thought I saw a flying ant for a second. This, however, is not a European nightjar. It is a fiery neck nightjar. Yes, you. He's taking advantage of my headlights, any bugs that are coming towards the light and coming past him. That's what he dashed off to grab a bit earlier. And see that fiery neck, that really ruddy neck at the back. Just keeping quiet for a second. It is so quiet. I'm just going to keep quiet. Just listen to how quiet it is. It is so quiet. Oh, nightjar's off. First lady is wondering, how do we identify male and female nightjars? The answer is with great difficulty. I actually very, very seldom look whether they are male or female. Let me just get the birds out. So it is almost impossible to tell the difference between male and female. Let me say cryptic. That's how they describe male and female. So the fiery neck nightjar, it is from what the app is saying, There's so few differences. So if we have a look, you need to see them flying. The male has more white in the tail than the female. That's how you tell the difference. So with great difficulty. Yes, so there we go. That's how you tell the difference. There are slight differences in them, but it is near impossible to tell unless you are looking at a pennant-winged nightjar during its breeding season. Then it is very easy to tell the difference between male and female because the female doesn't have those long wing pennants. Now, Tristan saw one on Djuma, I think, not so long ago, which is a really great record for this part of the world. So, well done, Tristy. No alarm calls, no snorting. Well, let's go find out about Tristan and his pennant-winged nightjar.
Well, same this side as well. Very little going on in terms of alarm calls or snorting or anything else. But I believe Brent has delved into the world of nightjars. And so, yes, nightjars are as cryptic as they get, male and females, and just them in general. And I know he's talking about the pennant-winged nightjar. It still hasn't been seen. I'm actually in the area where it was seen, and we're trying to just have a little look. You never know. Maybe it pops out for us tonight. It was seen just on a road that goes to our left fairly shortly. So I'm having a look around. It's the only way to really spot it is to kind of just see it take off and see those streamers that come off the wing itself. So that would be really special to see. A pennant wing is not a common one to see out here at all. So that would be really, really nice if we could. So there's, talking of nightjars, there's one there that's just flown away, but that was not our pennant-wing friend. It did not have the long streamers coming off. The problem with pennant-wing nightjar, if there's a female, it's really tough to make out whether it's which one it is. It looks incredibly similar to that of a European nightjar. It has the same kind of markings, those white bars on the wing. The male doesn't have any confusion because of its long streaming feathers, but the female just has that white bar on the wing that looks very similar to a European's. It lacks the white bar on the wing, which is what the European lacks. Sorry, I don't know why I say it has. That's all the other nightjars, but it lacks that white bar on the wing itself. I'm also confused as to where our buffalo herd went. So I'm in the area that we had them this morning, but I can't find any further tracks than the exact spot that Taylor and I had. And I kind of did a loop around. I went up onto the cut line. They didn't come out. I was kind of hoping that now if we came, maybe those male lions would have sniffed them and would be coming down this way and trying to maybe stalk and hunt and try and kind of come towards where these buffalo were, but no sign of them either. They're probably snoozing off their wildebeest with massive bellies and are not really interested in coming this way too much just yet, although I feel like if the buffalo bellow or make some noise, you might find them coming southwards towards this area. It's going to be interesting to see what their movement is from where they are now, whether they move south and try and head towards the Nkuhumas or where they go from here. It's going to be very, very cool to see. So I think we're in for a uneasy time, both leopard and lion wise, and whether it all settles down is anyone's guess at this stage. But it really has been a tough afternoon. There's been very little sign of anything. We just had that one little Ellie at Buffelshoek Dam that was very shy and ran away from us, and otherwise it's been a little on the hard side to find anything. I mean, tracks wise, even just animal wise, none of them have really seemed to be out and about. So I suppose it is bedweather and it makes sense to be kind of in bed and taking it very easy. It's good weather for pangolin or an aardvark though, dare I say. You never know. Maybe we'll find something along the way as we start to head home, but while we do that, let's send you across to Taylor McCurdy and see what she's going to be looking for in the last few minutes before she says goodbye from all of us.
To be seen this evening, which is very disappointing, don't you think? We've come into giraffe dip now, which could be promising because it's in a drainage. It's actually not too chilly in here. There's a bit of a break from the breeze, so maybe we're going to be enough now. Let me check the ground as well. I don't know where to look. I'll check the trees. Oh my goodness, the gremlins just won't leave me alone. I'm going to send you back to Tristan for the final minutes of the show.
So, thankfully, Taylor's gremlins are probably going to go to sleep now, and she'll be able to go home, and we'll just finish up the evening with all of you guys. And we had a little scrub hare that ran into the road that's now disappeared and kind of gone round the corner, sitting down further down the road itself. So we're not going to shine our lights on our scrub hare at all. But it's been an interesting afternoon in many respects. It's a lot quieter than it was yesterday afternoon, and it's weird because it's very similar conditions, except that today was a lot colder than it was yesterday. Yesterday was at least a warm, wet afternoon, whereas this afternoon was quite chilly. Maybe that's where the difference lies, is that yesterday there was a little bit more warmth, and that's what drove a lot of the animals to come down for water, as opposed to today, where it just became a situation where probably everything was just hiding out and taking it very easy. I'm sure Brent is very happy to be on Chitwa's side. I'm sure he's going to enjoy his night on that side. It'll be nice to start from that side tomorrow morning. I'm pretty sure it's going to be an interesting kind of change, and hopefully he'll hear a lot of things in the night and give us some updates from that side of the world. Maybe he'll even get the Birminghams coming past and roaring. So hopefully Brent and Craig enjoy their night, and like I say, that they have a good time on that side of life. But from the rest of us who've had a damp, wet day, hopefully tomorrow will be a dry one, and there'll be lots of sunshine out and about, and Taylor will get rid of those gremlins, and we'll be able to show you lots of things. But from Taylor, myself, Brent, all the cam-ups, and Rebecca in Final Control, it's been an absolute pleasure. We'll see you all tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Safari.